What's up guys, welcome back to another not so classic episode of Parkour Journeys. Today I really want to talk about my 5 top tips that help me and can help you improve your parkour. Let's go. So essentially in the parkour community, it's generally that you just go out and train with whoever you want to train with in whatever town that you grew up in, and you do parkour and you have fun, and that's a fantastic way to train, and I love that about parkour. That's one of the best things about parkour. It's just with friends and you're out and you're enjoying yourself. But a lot of people might be asking, you might want to be finding a way to actually improve your parkour. You might have hit a plateau, you might have seen someone who's better than you and you're like, how do I get to that level? How do I push myself? How do I grow as a parkour athlete? And I've been doing parkour for 12 years now, and I'm going to share my insights with you about how I personally get better at parkour and what I do to improve on a regular basis so that I don't hit plateaus, so that I can smash through my ceilings and get to that better level without slowing down, without stopping. These 5 things have been incredibly important to me and my progression, and I want to share them with you now because my biggest passion is communicating to anyone who doesn't know what are the best practices with parkour, how you can get better, what you can do to make your experience with parkour more enjoyable, what sort of pitfalls I can help you look out for, because I've had 12 years of parkour experience and there's lessons that I've learned, and sometimes I feel like there isn't the same guidance in the parkour community these days. When I was growing up, there was a good community and there was some older people who helped sort of guide us through the different ways that we could learn to move, and there's lots of different lessons that I've learned that I really want to pass on and try and help create that community vibe. That's what Parkour Journeys is all about. If you're new here and you've just found us, it's well worth subscribing. We go around from town to town in classic parkour journeys and sort of train with new people in different places, and we explain our experience to you, how we're overcoming mental barriers and how we're progressing in parkour. And often I'll come on the camera like this right now and I'll share with you as my sort of insights into how to move better, how to use your body better, what you can do to progress, and just any kind of insights that I've learned because I pay really close attention to my training process and what helps make me better. And I just want to share that with as many people as possible, and that's my passion. So that's what I'm going to do today. Let's crack in 5 top tips to help you get better at parkour. These tips aren't in any particular order, although I am going to save my favorite one for the end because, well, I want you to watch the whole video and take in as much of this as possible. So sit down and grab a cup of tea, whatever you need, enjoy and pay attention. Maybe grab a notebook and write some of these down. Just take it in, okay? So my first tip is you need to start paying attention to the details of your movement. What I see a lot of in the parkour community is the attempt to do the best moves and to try and get the most complex lines, but also without paying any attention to how you're moving and how you're connecting your movements together. Something that I like to make sure that I'm paying attention to, something that I use to make my flow a lot better, is to pay attention to the details, how I'm connecting each movement, what positions my limbs are in when I'm doing the movement. It's not just about getting yourself across a gap or doing like a specific flip. It's like, how are you doing that? And it's what you look like when you're doing it, but it's not what you look like when you're doing it because you want to show how good you look. It's that when you look better doing a movement, that's generally because you're doing it in a more functional way. You're moving in a way that your body is supposed to move, and that's why it looks so much better. Paying attention to those connections, those details, those bits where you're just getting from one move to another, or those shapes that you are in, like the shapes that your body make when you're in the air. Those are the kind of things that, whilst yes, they're going to make your parkour look better, they're also going to help you improve because you're going to understand how you're moving your body better, how it flows, how top to toe, your body connects with itself. And you can only understand that when you start paying attention to the movements that you're creating. And like I say, it is what it looks like, but it's not because you're trying to get it super aesthetic, although that can be one of your goals. That's super interesting as well. I love that aspect of parkour myself. But what I've found is that by trying to make it look the best, I'm actually making my body move in a better way. I'm making my motions more natural. And when I see myself in a place where like I'm not quite moving, I'm like, that doesn't look right, what's happening there? I'm like sorting out which part of my, like maybe my flexibility isn't there, maybe my, you know, range of motion isn't correct for that movement yet, and then I can go away and I can work on that. And it, like I say, it's just a paying attention to those details. Like, film your lines, have a look at them. Don't film them just for Instagram. Have a look at what you're doing and be like, why does it look like that? Where am I hindering myself with maybe like a lack of flexibility, like I said, or a lack of strength, or a lack of control with my arms or my legs, or, you know, whatever it is, and just pay attention to those details. This is the kind of thing that will really help you break through a plateau, because when you start paying attention to those details, you start noticing where you might be getting some lag. And it also massively helps with things like flow and connecting your movements together, because what you're doing is you're noticing where your feet hit the floor, like what position you're pushing. Like say you do a thief vault, you're noticing what position your feet land in, and then how that's going to launch you into the next move, and just paying attention to all these things, like focusing in on the details, will just level up your parkour, really take you to that next level. Tip number 2 is explore different places. So a lot of people will grow up in one town and they'll train basically in one town, maybe stretch out to a few different towns in the area, but like overall only training like 1 or 2 places. Get yourself out there, man. Get into different areas, get people to show you different spots, because this is the kind of thing that's going to help you stretch and grow your parkour. I remember when I was younger, I used to stay in like sort of the same 3 towns, and I'd have jumps in my mind. I was like, I've got to do that, and it would be a huge mental barrier, because I'm like, I know that jump and I know I'm after it, and I'm trying to get to a level where I can get to that jump. But the way you get to a level where you can do those jumps is by experiencing slightly smaller jumps in different areas. And if you're only in one place, then you have such a limited amount of variety that you can't progress in a way that you can't progress very quickly, because you've actually got to take massive leaps in progression rather than slow and steady steps. And putting your body into all these different environments, it starts getting a better idea of how to move. And what you might not understand is that actually when you do, say, a precision jump in a different environment, and like maybe it doesn't look anything like the jump that you want to do in your hometown, but your body gets new information about how it can move and what it can take and how it can cope with different scenarios. And the more you throw it into these new positions and these new places and these new environments, the more it can learn to deal with new situations. So whilst it may not look like the same jump, you're gathering so much new information and details about what you can do, and then your fear level goes down and you move into a space where actually you're far more likely to do the jump that you were originally intending to do. So explore new places, find new places to train, and push yourself in different areas. And before you know it, honestly, your progression just goes up massively. As soon as I started training in different towns and finding different environments, like my progression was just leveling up, because like I say, it's like there's variety, there's new things to do. It's not just the same thing. And this is going to help massively as well for your mental aspects of parkour, because your creativity changes when you move into different spaces. Like if you're in the same space over and over again, and you know maybe you've been as creative as you can get in that place without moving into another place and getting some new ideas, and then you hit plateaus because you're just in the same place. I hope that makes sense. And basically it helps develop your creativity because of all the new environments, because of all the new ideas you get from being in different environments. You won't know, you can't project this into the future. You can't think, oh, I'm gonna go to that town so I can learn this new bit of creativity and then I'll bring that over here. It's like, you have to go to a new environment. You can't decide what you're gonna learn when you get there. You just have to throw yourself into that situation. And then when you get there, you'll learn these new things, and then it's kind of like an unconscious process. You'll bring it back, and then your creativity will be better in these new scenarios. So go to new places. You'll see with Parkour Journeys, we're trying to get out to these different towns as often as we possibly can. We can't always do it, but we do our best to, because like I say, it just pushes you and you learn new things, and you get new ideas. This totally leads me on to the third point, which is you need to train with different people. Don't always be training with the same people. You can take the same people to the new people that you're going to train with, and that's fine too, but you like learn off other people. It's so important to not just always do the things that you're comfortable with with and the things that you want to do. So not only train with new people and do your own thing, but train with new people and just try and keep up with them, because almost everyone moves in a different way. They've had something different that they've honed in. They can give you some tips about how they're moving, how they're accomplishing things they're doing. But don't just shy away and stay in your own corner where you're like, oh, I don't really do that kind of movement, so I'm not going to do it. Expand, move into new areas. And like, if you think it doesn't interest you, question if actually you're just scared of doing that kind of movement, or if you're just limiting yourself, saying, oh, that kind of thing doesn't interest me. A lot of the time I find that that's actually me just limiting myself because I'm nervous or scared to go into a new area. So you want to expand and try and grow through like following other people and trying what they're trying, and before you know it, you develop such like way more well-rounded of a style, because you're learning these different tidbits from every different person, and you're challenging yourself and and you're getting out of your comfort zone, and that's so important to break through plateaus and to smash through. And you can bring those techniques into the way that you like to train, because obviously you do have a certain way that you probably prefer to train, but I just think it's so important that you don't get stuck in that rut, and that you move into new areas and you let that guide you and you let that help you grow, even if you're a little bit nervous, even if it's just outside your comfort zone. And the thing is, with parkour, you can really easily trick yourself into thinking, I'm always getting out of my comfort zone. This is parkour, I'm always pushing myself. But get out of your comfort zone in parkour. Meet those new people, train in different ways, and you'll definitely see some results, I promise. By the way, guys, I want these videos to be as much of a conversation as possible, so let me know which of these tips down below is helping you, and just leave me a comment, let me know if you're enjoying these videos. If there's any other pieces of advice that you think I might be able to share with you, just ask me questions down below and I will make a video about them eventually. I'm trying to make these videos more consistently. Hopefully I'm going to eventually get to a point where I'm making them on a different day, so you have one day of actual parkour journeys and then another day of like this more advice type videos. But the only way I'm going to be able to do that is if people send in enough questions for me to be able to answer. So just leave me a comment down below and let me know what it is you'd love me to cover, and I'll try and get that done for you. By the way, I appreciate every single person who watches these videos. It really, really means a lot to me, and I hope that they help you, and I hope you get some value out of them, because it's my pure passion to just communicate and pass on parkour as best as I can. And in a world of competition and just Instagram and like watching parkour go down the drain of social media and pushing yourself to be better than other people, I think that trying to ground in this kind of community-based bettering yourself area, the kind of philosophy that I grew up with parkour, that is I don't ever want that to fade away. So I'm going to do my best to keep putting that back into the community as best as I can. Tip number 4, take care of your body. You know I'm always harping on about this. We've got plenty of other videos on the channel about the barefoot shoes, how to stretch, the top things that I wish I knew when I was starting parkour. All of these cover a big chunk of how to take care of your body, and I'm going to be releasing new videos on that soon. I'm talking about diet, I'm talking about stretching, I'm talking about mobility, and I'm talking about strength training. So all 4 of those are so massively important in helping you progress with parkour. Number 1, strength training. You need to get yourself down the gym, or not necessarily just be trying to bulk up and put on muscle, but I'm talking about functional movement. Use the gym if you need to. You don't have to. Functional movement at home, getting yourself to a point where your legs are strong enough to be taking the jumps that you're actually throwing them into. One of my biggest regrets from early on training is not properly conditioning my lower body so that it can actually take the jumps I'm throwing it into. I'm so good at launching myself, but landing, I can't take that impact, or at least I used to not be able to, and that's why I've developed massive knee problems, and that's why I have to overcome those now. That's a lot of why I'm learning more about my body, and why I want to pass so much of this on, because I've had such a problem with my knee that I want to prevent you guys from doing that. So strengthen your legs, strengthen your upper body as well. That'll help with your chin-ups, help with your muscle-ups, help with your climb-ups, but it's really important to strengthen that lower body and make sure it can take the impact that you're putting into it. Number 2 on that is mobility as well, because it's not just about how strong you are, it's also about what positions can you get into. A lifetime of sitting down, whether you're an active person or not, when you go home, you sit down and then your hips clothes, they get tighter, and then that puts the rest of your body out of whack. You have no idea how much of a difference it makes to make sure you're doing yoga and mobility training so that you can actually put your body into the proper positions that it's designed to be put in when you're doing this strenuous exercise, when you're taking all this impact. There's a few people out there who can get away without stretching and things like this, and you know, a lot of the parkour videos won't show you people how they're warming up and how they're taking care of your body, but you do some research, get yourself mobile, get yourself able to do the movements that you're trying to get your body to do. And you don't, like, just because you can do a movement doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing it without damaging your body. So just try and get yourself into that perfect positioning, and just a never-ending project. Take care of your body. It's your tool, it's your instrument, it's why you can do what you do, and taking care of it is so massively important. I hate when I go out and I see people hucking down McDonald's as their mid-training meal. It's like, what are you doing? Like, how is that that's not taking care of yourself. Take care of your body. Take out a proper nutritious meal to eat while you're out, and take out, I've described before in a few other videos, the protein shake thing that I take out, to make sure that you've got the right nutrients to train with. And then when you get home, make sure you do repair your body properly by having the right meal, lots of protein, lots of carbs and lots of fats, and just filling yourself up, but just not eating this junk, like this sugary crap and all this processed food. It's just not going to do your body any good. It's like, why it holds you back. So you need to pay attention to these types of things. And I know it's really difficult, especially if you haven't had any problems yet, but if you really want to get better, if you want to smash through those plateaus, if you want to get stronger, get better at your parkour, this is the way to do it. This is how athletes train. You're not going to see, you know, Olympic level athletes hawking down a McDonald's, you know what I mean? And there's a reason for that, so look after yourself. So my fifth and final tip is, it's a big one. It's basically to go to your spots without any expectations. And this means that you want to go to the spaces that you're going to train and don't have any requirements of yourself. I always find that when I'm going to a place and I know that I have to try and do something, it removes my inspiration. It puts me into this place of need and this place of, I'm not doing it for myself. I'm trying to hit a level that I think I should be at, or I'm trying to hit a jump that I think I should be able to do. And it's a good idea to have goals and targets, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if you go into a space where you don't have any expectation, you can really be there for yourself. And this is the whole point, is you want to be doing parkour for yourself. You don't want to be doing it for the video. You don't want to be doing it because you think you have to get that next jump to impress that person, or just because you think you have to be the best, or any of this crap. You want to be there for yourself, and that means no expectations. And what you'll find is, if you go to a spot with no expectations, then your creative mind starts spinning, and you start getting into a space where you can easily create lines and easily find new movements, and you get excited because you're not there to do the same old crap as well. All of a sudden a new idea will come to you, and you'll move into that space, you'll do it. And as well as that, it gets you into a much more present mindset. I've talked a little bit about on this channel a sort of, flow state and getting your mind into like a no mind situation where you're really there, you're fully there, you're not over analyzing, you're not overthinking, you're just doing the moves and you're fully in it, immersed in the activity. And the way that you do that is, one of the main steps is to go there without expectation, and to go there just for yourself, just to see what happens, and to let your body take you, and to let your mind take you when you get there. I've spent a lot of time putting too much pressure on myself and trying to create stuff in a pressured, forced way, and all that does is stifle you. All it does is bring you out of the moment, bring you out of the immersion, and it puts you into a comparative space where you're thinking about how someone else is better than you, or how you're not, up to the level you want to be at, and you start getting angry at yourself. I see so many people just getting angry at what they can't do in parkour, rather than being so happy with what they can do, and allowing themselves to reward themselves for what they can do, and enjoy that area. and really enjoy parkour. That's what it's all about. That's what you're doing it for, right? Enjoyment, and the progress will come, but you've got to teach yourself to enjoy what you're doing rather than judging yourself and having like ridiculous expectations of what you think you should be able to do. So that's a huge tip, and just sort of mull that one over. Go and try it out. Go and think about what I've just said there, because it's such an important tip, and it might seem like a bit of a breezy thing where you're like, oh cool, just turn up and then like do whatever. And that's the essentials of what I'm saying, but it goes a little deeper than that, and just sort of think about what I'm talking about, and like really hone into why you're doing parkour, and look at your motivations and find out how much of your training is going towards like getting that next Instagram clip, or getting, you know, someone's approval, or just like, you know, getting like trying to be better, you know. And it's a bit of a paradox, because I'll always encourage you to try and be better, but look at the motivations and look at why you're trying to be better. Are you trying to improve yourself? Are you trying to like, are you excited about a new move and that's why you want to do it, and you want to get, you're pumped up to do it? Or are you just getting angry at yourself for an ability you don't have yet? Yeah, so just have a look at your mood, analyze your training, analyze your mindset while you're training, and find out if you're really doing it for you. And that will drastically change your training and your parkour. So that's it. That's all my 5 tips. I really hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Please do leave me a comment, let me know which tip helps you the best, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe, hit notifications. I'm bringing you these kind of videos as like every single Tuesday at 4:30, and I'm wanting to up it. I'm wanting to do more. I'm wanting to keep bringing them out, and I'd love to make this a full-time thing. So just help me help you, and we will grow together, and we'll keep it coming. So thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Much love, and I will see you next week for another Parkour Journeys. Take care.